onto islandheritageinsurance.com. Island Heritage Insurance is also here for you this hurricane season with helpful tips from their Hurricane Handbook. Just log on to islandheritageinsurance.com/hurricane.
Live from Star 927 Studios in the center of Cayman's capital city, Georgetown. This is Straight Talk with Ruthanna.
Good evening, everybody. You are tuned into Straight Talk, brought to you exclusively by Star 92.7 Premium Radio. I will skip my normal intro as this is my final day as your host of Straight Talk, and I am going to have the privilege and the pleasure of interviewing your newest host, and Miss Yvette. I see you tuned in on Facebook. Thank you for sending the love. For those of you who are on Facebook, you would already know who is with me in the studio, but I know that so many of you are stuck in traffic, and I am going to leave you in. For those of you who aren't on Facebook and watching the live stream from the Star 92.7 Facebook page, I will leave you in suspense just a smidge longer before I share with you who is the new host taking over the mic. I will say that I am particularly pleased and excited that it is another woman taking up this seat in this microphone. So I'm excited to share this afternoon with her and to just allow you, for those of you who may not know her as well, to learn more about her and to just get to chit chat this afternoon. 943-3700 is the line in studio. And of course, you can WhatsApp me 324-1565 or email me at straighttalkci@gmail.com. But you guys know the deal. Before we go any further here on Straight Talk, we always start our time together with the reading of today's Daily Bread, just a moment focused on God. So today's Daily Bread is entitled Rooted in Love, and it comes from Ephesians 3, verse 17 to 18, and reads, I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power to grasp the love of Christ. That's all it takes, Megan said. She had clipped a stem from her geranium plant, dipped the cut end in honey, and stuck it into a pot filled with compost. Megan was teaching me how to propagate, how to turn one healthy plant into many plants so I would have flowers to share with others. The honey, she said, was to help the young plant establish roots. Watching her work, I wondered what kinds of things help us establish spiritual roots. What helps us mature into strong, flourishing people of faith? What keeps us from withering up or failing to grow? Paul, writing to the Ephesians, says that we are rooted and established in love. This love comes from God, who strengthens us by giving us the Holy Spirit. Christ dwells in our hearts, and as we begin to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, we can have a rich experience of God's presence as we're completely filled and flooded with God Himself. Growing spiritually requires rooting into the love of God, meditating on the truth that we are beloved by the God who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. What an incredible basis for our faith. Thanks be to God for that word today. As always, here on Straight Talk, we remind you, we encourage you to spend time each and every day focused on His word, meditating on His grace. With that, I open up my microphone this afternoon and I invite into this conversation, and this will be the last day she's on that side of the microphone, none other than Miss Catherine Tyson in studio with me. She will be, as of Monday, you will be the official new host of Straight Talk here on Star 92.7. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm waiting either for the cheers in the background or it's a lot of different feelings, a lot of different emotions. But yeah, just excited to be here with you today, especially.
So am I. And for those who may just be tuning in today for the first time, or maybe hearing this announcement for the first time, earlier in September, I announced that I'd be making my departure as your host of Straight Talk, and a new host would be taking the mantle, taking the microphone, really, up on October 5th. We have waited and we have guarded the secret until today, when we are sharing with you that today Catherine takes over on Monday. And of course, for me, I have loved and just absolutely I'm grateful for the time I've spent in the last 3.5 years as your host of Straight Talk. But as all things are guaranteed, change is inevitable. So as I grow my business in real estate, and of course everyone knows I have my little toddler running around the house, that I've had to make the decision that I needed to make more time for both of those things, and so I will be stepping down as the host, and in of course Miss Catherine Tyson will be stepping up into this microphone. But it has been an incredible 3.5 years of learning, getting to know people, and being of service to those on the other end of the mic in general. And so I'm going to pretend today that people have no clue who you are,
Okay, great.
which is a hard sell, right? Because you are certainly no stranger to the community and have done so much, and so many people know you in different capacities. Certainly no stranger to media, and radio and TV and all of the things that you've done. But for those who may be less familiar with you, to just share some of those details as well. Now, this is not your first time on air with me, technically,
Right.
because you would have come on air in the earlier years of, like, in the what that would have been in the beginning of my show. You came,
2017.
yeah, in the very, because you gotta remember, I took over just before nomination day, right, of the last
Mhm.
election. But so that means that you escaped who your mama is. Right.
Oh dear.
So one thing that's customary for me on Street Talk is anytime someone comes to the studio with me for the very first time, we do a little segment to start called Who Your Mama Is, right? Just
Yeah.
a little opportunity for you to share some tidbits about yourself. Just 2 minutes, give them and some people answer it literally, but not necessarily. It's just to learn about you just a tad before I do a deep dive into some more things about you. So, Catherine, everyone is dying to know who your mama is.
Oh wow. That's such an interesting question, right?
Mhm.
Because I am such a public person, right? That so many people do know me, and I'm surprised when people don't. And I love that. I'm happy when they don't because I'm like, wow, that's great. That means that we have different people in our community that don't know me. So it gives me an
Mhm.
opportunity to be somebody else,
Mhm.
maybe, right?
Mhm.
Or start fresh. So maybe I'll let everybody figure it out.
That's not really how who your mama is works out. That's not really how it works.
I bet.
Mhm.
But yeah, well, I grew up on Walker's Road.
Okay, that's
That's
something.
for sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
And a lot of people might know Miss Valerie.
Mhm.
She was Miss Hulda's sister, and they were Hulda, Laura, Olive, Carmen, you name it. It's like I don't think it was 16 children
Mhm.
that were originally from East End. And I think about 5 or 6 of them moved to town, and they were like not far from each other. That's actually my great grandmother. So I was
Okay.
raised right there on Walker's Road by my grandmother. And yeah, and my
Okay.
mother people would know as Ida, they'll call her. And I think that's it. That's all I'll give. Oh, and
Okay.
Carita's
Mhm.
Copper Kettle is my aunt.
Jeez.
Let's
Listen.
see. So
Okay.
people know Miss Carita and that cooking, and right across there is Carita's Copper
Mm.
Kettle used to be, which
Yes.
is now bread and chocolate. So
Yes.
yeah, I think yeah,
I
that's
we gonna
me.
pause for a minute here because listen, when I was going to John Gray High School,
Right.
right? I know this supposed to be all about you, but since you brought up Miss Carita, when I was going to John Gray High School, she was the one who did the kitchen at John Gray,
Yeah.
and that's like, oh, that we had the good stuff,
I heard
good
about her
stuff about.
chili. Somebody's got a lot of people
Yes,
tell me about my aunt's chili.
jeez.
And chili is one of my favorite dishes. I
Oh
love to
my
cook.
gosh! No, we
It
had a
must be just in
thing.
the DNA.
It got to be, but let me tell you something. And I'd never had it in my life until like Miss Carita started cooking at the kitchen in John Gray,
Hmm.
and I don't even know who had started this whole thing, but of course she'd make fried dumplings, right, as
Oh,
part
okay.
of the morning breakfast options, and it became a thing to get just the fried dumplings with cream cheese and pancake syrup,
Oh
right?
gosh.
So
Who
that
came up with
I don't
that?
even, but it was a thing.
Sounds wrong.
And
Sounds
it was
good, but
amazing. And anybody in John Gray class 2001, like
they
they would know what
know.
I'm talking about. I don't know which, I can't speak for no other class, but John Gray High School class 2001, like
Wow.
we all knew about Miss Carita, her fried dumpling, fritter, call it whatever you want to call it,
Uh-huh.
cream cheese, pancake syrup.
My
That was the beat.
goodness.
So since we brought it up, but certainly as I mentioned, as people get to know you today, you are no stranger to radio. You are no stranger to media in general because you've had your own TV show, as well as you're an author. It's
Yeah.
so many things. And but before even we get to that element of it, you have been so involved in our community for so many years, even just by virtue of your careers,
Yeah.
and the things that you've done. And so, if you could share with everyone, from education, because it starts from your educational background and the years you served as a civil servant, in social services and as a social worker.
Yeah.
And so, if you could just share with everyone a little bit, about your background, for those again. I know it's a hard sell for those who may be less familiar with you,
Yeah.
your background as a civil servant.
Well, I think a lot of people know me just from different places, and because each person knows me from a particular place, they might
Hmm.
not even know the whole collective story. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's great to just kind of think about it.
Hmm.
And as you were talking about the media, I
Hmm.
just started thinking about what my real roots are is the community, and so
Hmm.
I'm glad that you actually mentioned that. I'm a social worker by profession, so
Hmm.
I have my background is in I have social work. I have a psychology degree and a master of social work degree. So I have been working with vulnerable populations for a very long time.
Mm.
I taught middle school for 3 years in the U.S. before I came home and joined the social services department. And I've been a civil servant for over 16 years,
Mhm.
and I left as a a community development manager, but really the temporary homes manager.
Okay.
So I'd been there for quite a bit, and just worked in different areas of government during that
Okay.
time, and managed to do so many things, as well as raise three little children
You're a
that
mommy, of
are
course.
big people, exactly
Yes.
big people now, and all university graduates themselves, and holding their own and making trail blazing their trail and making their way.
Yes.
Um but yeah, I've worked a lot in the community and just in different facets, and I think like everything just kind of led to something else.
Mhm.
So I was a single mother at
Mhm.
26. Some people don't know that story,
Okay.
but I became a single mother at 26, and my babies were 6 months, 4 and 5.
Wow.
And so I was on my own, and continuing my education before I moved back home, because I had
Mhm.
gotten married in the States, and
Okay.
it didn't work out, and I was still there. So I wanted to come back home to my mom and family support,
Mhm.
when you have little children, like you mentioned,
Oh
running
yes.
around,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
much help as you can get, when your mother is somewhere
Learn to say
else.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I kind of wanted to come back for the support, but I finished my undergraduate degree before I came home, just so
Okay.
I'd be able to, you know, feed them little children,
Yes.
and provide a better life for them since I was on my own.
Yes.
And 3 years into my single parent journey, I thought, I was going to be like saved by Prince Charming, and he going to be whisked off on a white horse, and me and my little kids were going to be happily ever after.
Mhm.
And it didn't happen. And so
Mm.
when that didn't happen, I started writing journals. So
Okay.
my book was kind of was born out of journaling.
Okay.
So
And the
I
name.
had
What's your name of your
journaled.
book?
It's called I'm Somebody's Mama,
Okay.
which it's about
Mhm.
my life as a single mother, and some of really the premise of the book is about some of the things that I did or didn't do because I was somebody's mother.
Okay.
So that's really what it was about. It was
Okay.
about, listen, I got this really big job that's
Mhm.
been thrust on me for whatever reason, and it's pretty serious. Like I have
Yes.
3 people that are looking at me to raise them properly. Three
Yes.
people that are, they're going to, whatever I do is going to make or break them. And so, how
Mhm.
do I build better people? How do I build good people? How do I
Yes.
help, put some good stuff into them so that they can, just make their way in the world,
Yes.
regardless of my situation or what had happened or what didn't happen
Mhm.
or who didn't come and save me, but how could I save myself? And then, in essence, save these little kids.
Yes.
So that's how that book came about. So, about 10 years into the journaling,
Mhm.
the book was born. It was
Okay.
one of those things. And so,
How do and just a I'm a shameless I'm gonna help on a shameless plug here. If
yeah.
someone wants to get their hands on the book and they don't already have it, how do they purchase the book?
I think there's still some places that have it. The museum.
Okay.
I think Books and Books, you can always order it. It's on Amazon.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm somebody's mama.
Okay.
But yeah, and out of that book, like so many things came out of that, just like the media opportunities.
Correct.
You know, interviewing for the book and just getting, opportunities to come back and talk again and then come back and guest host and yeah, and then with those media opportunities, then I created my own show. Like I'd gotten
And I want
a
to I want to stick to some of the, I want to some of the writing because you've written beyond
okay.
the book already,
Yeah.
right? In terms of news and newspapers, news outlets, magazines. So what are some of the other mediums through which you've written
Well,
outside of writing your book?
I had a column for the
Hmm.
Cayman Compass like
Hmm.
years ago. So that was
Yes.
right like out of the book as well. So I was writing a column for a couple years
Hmm.
and I wrote for the Cayman Reporter. I was
Yeah.
also there as the deputy managing director.
Hmm.
And I've written for She Caribbean, which
Yes.
is regional Caribbean. And I've been writing now for Urban Sentinel, which is out of Washington. So
Oh,
I
that's
do like,
exciting.
yeah, it's pretty exciting. I do writing uh, yeah, I don't know, self-help, women's empowerment, because the book kind of became this women's empowerment thing. It
Right.
really was about you have the power to make or
Yeah.
break your situation.
Okay.
And so everything I write about is like loving your life, loving where
Mm.
you are. You're going to get kicked down sometimes and some people are going to kick you down and you just got to get up.
Yeah.
You just got to get up. You got to keep getting up and you can't allow your adversities to keep you down because every single day is the opportunity for you to get up and
Yes.
do better than yesterday, reevaluate it, regroup, refresh, reload,
Mm-hmm.
keep it moving. So yeah, all my writings are really about that and everything that I try to stand for is really about that you know
That's awesome. And I will say I have not read your book yet. But even hearing what it's about makes me want to read it because even as you spoke about, these three people, these three little people, of course, I'm still into myself, very new into my journey of motherhood. And it very much puts a whole different lens on life.
yeah,
Right. And I remember, I'll never forget when I brought Elisa home from the hospital and I realized that this little human is absolutely entirely
for you.
dependent on me or someone else because I remember having a conversation with my younger sister who she already has three kids and is a seasoned mom, and we were discussing the fact that basically infants don't have the instinct to lift their head if they're smothering,
Yeah,
right? and
yeah,
and I remember thinking, wow, that for me was that this person is
yeah,
entirely reliant on me
yeah,
and
yeah.
and us as her parents, and it puts a whole different perspective on your life,
Absolutely. Like
you know.
you stop thinking about foolishness. Like
Yeah.
I'm a social worker, so I work with people who are still thinking about foolishness. And I'm like, hey, look at your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Stop thinking about foolishness. You got some people depending on you. Like I've had that where because I'm that shake you up
Yes.
type of social worker too. I'll come to your house and if you're doing foolishness, I'm like, what are you doing? This
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. Your children need you to be focused. Your children need you to be need you to be sober because they're watching you. And so
Yes.
you can't tell them one thing and then do another thing. You can't say, I want my child to be a lawyer, but yet you're not checking his homework.
Yeah.
You don't know where he is and he's 11.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
But
I think the audience knows, they'll know what you're passionate
trust
about,
me,
so
trust me.
they know. 943
Yeah.
3700. Miss Yvette is tuned in on Facebook and says, "Congrats,
Oh,
Catherine."
thank you.
Miss Yvette McLaughlin, her son. I miss Alai. I know Alai is deeply engrossed in his work, right? Where he spent a large part of a summer here on radio with me,
Okay.
and he's such a bright young Caymanian mind.
Yeah.
And Miss Yvette is a faithful listener
Well, thank you.
of Straight Talk.
Thanks
So
for
she's
that
and
welcome. So I appreciate that.
yes. So thank you, Miss Yvette. And so you were saying, so you at one point you did have your own TV show.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But before I talk about that, I want
Okay.
to go back
Sure.
to this little baby you brought home because
Okay.
I could talk all day about
Oh
this
yes.
baby, right? It's about motherhood. But when I realized that
Mhm.
I had sole responsibility for a human being,
Mhm.
he was about my first child. He was
Mhm.
about I think 4 months, 4 or 5 months. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't a newborn, but he was,
Right.
and he was
Still an
sitting on my
infant.
lap. I had just taken him out the tub,
Mm-hmm.
and he was sitting on my lap, and I was getting the powder and lotion and whatever,
Yeah.
and he was like, there, and I reached over to get something, and he almost fell off my lap,
Oh.
and I grabbed him, and the look on his face was,
Mm.
"You got me."
Yeah.
That look, I will never forget
Yeah.
that look. The look was, "You got." I was terrified. I thought
Right.
he had fallen on the floor. It was one of
Mm-hmm.
those, when you just didn't realize.
Instinct.
So
Yeah.
I just went over to grab something, didn't realize that he
He
couldn't
couldn't
hold
support
himself.
himself.
Yeah. And when I grabbed him, and the look that he gave me was like, "What? We're
Like I'm
good.
cool.
You got me." And I thought, "Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I got to have this boy,
Yeah.
because he thinks I got him." So every time I thought about messing up or doing something
Mm-hmm.
crazy, I remembered that look on his face. And then his siblings joined. His brother
Yeah.
joined. 19 months later, his sister joined.
Yeah.
Almost over 4 years later. But it was just that feeling of, you got to have these kids. You got to have them, because they think you got them.
You are everything
They
to
don't know if
them.
they don't know why they don't know if they're hungry. They don't know you can't pay a bill. They don't know none of that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's up to you to sort it out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It,
I had to go back to
it's
that,
no,
because that was
it's
just amazing for me.
trust me, we could spend this whole what we
Yeah,
have left of this hour because I
this could
think
be parenting hour
yeah, that
every day.
I get you because I find it's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
digress
yeah,
again. So we're gonna talk about TV and radio, because we could spend
yeah.
forever talking about mommyhood. But as you mentioned, you did transition into having your own TV show
I
at one
did.
time locally. What was the name of the TV show?
The name of my TV show is Lighten Up with Catherine Tyson. You can
Yeah.
find it on YouTube. So if you guys want to go search and check out some of my shows that are on there.
Mhm.
Um, I started with Came On 27. I took the show to them, and they said, "Oh, we can't afford it.
Mhm.
It's a lot involved." But they offered me a show after that. So the show
Okay.
they offered was Came On Let's Talk, or
Okay.
Let's Talk Came On, something like that. So I did that for a season.
Mhm.
And then after, spending all that time doing someone else's stuff, I was like, you know what, I can do my own thing. And
Right.
so I kind of figured out a way to do my own, which is quite an undertaking. And it went for 5 seasons, and I was just
Awesome.
completely exhausted because I did everything. I was
Mm.
it for the show. But I came up with a concept because I thought, like, life is so much easier than we make it. And lighten up. Like, so it was
Yeah.
lighten up and lighten your load. Like, get over it. Like,
Yeah.
stop taking yourself so seriously.
Too
Like, some
true.
people you can't joke with them, and some people get so mad about, you try to correct them, and they just get so hurted, and it's like, that's my word, hurted, right? They're
Yep.
just like,
Okay.
"Oh, like, how could you
Mhm.
say that?" Like, look, just hear what the person is saying. Maybe it's something
Yeah.
for you to grow. Maybe it's to help you. And if it's
Correct.
someone that you love, you can trust them, that they're not trying to hurt you. So
That's the
the
key.
show is really that. It was lighten up, like, just get over it and lighten your load. Like, stop making your life so difficult. And so
Mhm.
I'd bring people on every season. I'd bring people on that inspired me. Like,
Mm.
I had a lady that has no arms. I brought her to Cayman, and she was on the show. It was one of
Wow.
the most popular shows. And
Wow.
she's driving, she's eating with her feet. She
Yeah.
is living life. She's a yoga instructor. She's a
Wow.
bodybuilding champion.
Oh my god.
Like,
This is on YouTube?
yeah, it
Oh, I'm gonna
is.
have to
Check
go.
it
I'm gonna have
out.
to go look this
It's
up. I
amazing.
love
When
stories like that.
when you watch that, you have to stop with your foolishness.
Yeah, I love like that's why I love to watch
Yeah.
people like that
Hmm.
because in the I'm very much a big believer in everything that happens in my life is my fault.
Yeah.
Right? The reason I say that is because it gives me I maintain
It's
power.
the power.
Yeah, I maintain power
We're
that way.
making choices every day.
That's it.
Yep.
And people like her that you're speaking to, and I'm very much don't make it more difficult than it has to be.
Right. Right.
Don't take it as serious. You
Exactly.
know, I'm very much of that personality. But like any other human being, sometimes you forget that even the days that things seem incredibly challenging, you then turn around and look at a woman like her
Yeah.
and say, "Oh Lord, if she ain't making no excuses, what's my
What
issue?"
what are you doing?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
my issue,
Yeah,
right?
she has no arms. She's still getting up. She's getting in her car. She's driving. So when you watch it on YouTube, you'll see her driving my car. So she's literally
Wow.
driving the car, We went to Foster. She's shopping. I didn't help her just so we could see what she does in her life.
I'm gonna have to see this.
It's amazing.
I have
She's
to see
picking
this.
up a bottle of water with her feet.
I have to
She's
see this.
signing up your credit card slip with her feet, and she's not grumbling. And that's
Mhm.
my point. Why are we grumbling? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, we have a moment of grumbling,
Mhm.
sure. But I always say that limit your wallowing time.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna be wallowing for a couple minutes here, and then I'm gonna get over it, and I'm going to live my life
Mhm.
because I'm so blessed. Yeah.
Mhm. That's it. I
So
call it
so that's kind of really where it
the
came
premise of
about.
that
Yeah,
show.
where it came about, and just
That's
to make
excellent.
people happy, and just just keep it moving. Just
Yeah.
keep it moving, and we're on this journey.
Yeah.
Like, why not be positive?
Awesome. And so
Yeah.
you did the Lighten Up with Catherine Tyson, and you also did the Let's Talk K-Man, which
Yeah.
was directly for K-Man 27,
Yes.
amongst other other media appearances. But those were your two stints in television,
Yeah, in television.
in locally, and
Mhm.
certainly you still technically have not really stopped radio, you because you've guest hosted all over the place, but you've had some dedicated shows and segments
Yeah,
for yourself.
for sure.
So outside of guests, actually, we're coming out to a break, so I'm gonna pause that question.
Okay.
So when we come back from the break, she's no stranger to the radio, and certainly I know you continue to guest host even on, and you have in the past on other radio stations and such, and now you can call Star your home. So we'll talk about some of the things she's done on radio and get to know Miss Catherine Tyson some more this afternoon. She is your new host of Straight Talk. She will officially take up the microphone, so she'll be on the other end of the microphone come Monday afternoon for Medical Monday by Health City Cayman Islands. But this afternoon, I get to keep her on the guest end of the mic and just get to help you learn more about her. And in the process, I'm certainly learning more about her. And so this is my final show on Straight Talk. And so we will continue our conversation. And as soon as we stick with us through the break, we have about 2 minutes and a little bit of change. So keep it locked for some Straight Talk on Star 92.7.
Join the conversation. The phone lines are now open. 943-3700. You can also find us on Facebook or email us at straighttalkci@gmail.
Are you signed up to a MyCUC account? It's only the best way for you to manage energy usage and save on your CUC bill with Customer Connect, CUC's energy management tool. And you can also make quick and easy bill payments through PowerPay. And guess what? It just got better. Now you can see the dollar value of your energy usage and daily cost breakdown when you use Customer Connect. You can see comparisons of your costs month to month, set usage alerts, and avoid being surprised with a high electricity bill at the end of the month. Simply sign up at www.cuc-cayman.com and click on My CUC. Once logged in, track and monitor all of your energy usage information through Customer Connect and make payments at your convenience with PowerPay. And CUC is giving you the power to save.
Every year, the RBC Race for the Kids raises funds for Caribbean children and various youth causes. For 2020, the RBC Race for the Kids is going virtual with support for the Cayman Big Brother, Big Sister Foundation. So register today at www.rbcraceforthekids.com and let's virtually run together on Saturday 17th or Sunday 18th of October for this virtual family fun run. Walk or run, pick your own route, but be safe and make sure you socially distance. Every step is a step forward in helping our youth reach their true potential.
Reintroducing an old favorite and the only local family dining experience in Cayman. Champion House 2 have joined forces with the local eatery and is now open with a diverse food and adult beverage offering. Join us during the week for our buffet breakfast or lunch, or de-stress weekends on Fridays from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. and Saturdays until 12 a.m. Music to keep you entertained, catering services to suit any budget. Let the local eatery at Champion House 2 cater to you by calling 916-5736 or 329-5550, or place your order via Island Grub or the Let's Eat app today.
Yeah, I heard he got that hot new thing. It's called
Switch to Flow now and keep your number.
Oh, you just gonna stand there, huh?
Switch your prepaid number and get 5 gigs of data valid for 30 days. Or switch to postpaid and get your first month free on us. Flow is giving you so much more. What are you waiting for? Make the switch now. Visit any one of our retail stores to sign up now. Call 747-5050 or visit discoverflow.ky/switch. Flow, you deserve to be on the biggest and fastest network.
Welcome back to Straight Talk with Ruthanna on Star 927.
We are back, folks, and you are tuned into Straight Talk, brought to you exclusively by Star 92.7 Premium Radio. I am joined this afternoon by Miss Catherine Tyson, your newest host of Straight Talk. She will be taking up this microphone officially on Monday this afternoon, and we're just getting to know more about her. For those of you who may have missed the announcement that I've been sharing for the last few weeks, is that today will be my last day as your host on Straight Talk. Just having to make some room in my life for career and family, and so it has been amazing. I can't even tell you what an amazing audience you've been. The people I've met in my community through by extension through this show, the discussions I've been allowed to have, the things you've trusted me to discuss on your behalf. I am humbled. I appreciate you. I love all of you for how much you've enriched my life, and hopefully at least equally so I've enriched yours, and those of you who continue to be loyal listeners. I trust that you will continue listening on Straight Talk. Catherine will take over the microphones on Mondays. I am so happy that there will be an gentlemen, forgive me for a slight bias, but it is what it is. I will say, I know that when I shared with the station that I was stepping down, and needed to do that, I crossed my fingers and I prayed and I said, Lord, I hope they find another woman to take it over. I did. And so when finally they shared with me that they had, in fact, settled on a new host, and it was, in fact, you, which means that I was being, the next person coming in line was another woman. I was particularly biased and excited and happy because I think it's so important. If we really look at it, talk radio in Cayman is still very much a thing. Mm-hmm. It is still very much a staple in our society. People very much still tune in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening to get caught up. It is the opportunity for most people to get perspectives on what is going on in the community, and even get caught up on the news, because sometimes people don't have time to read it on their own. And so the little snippets that they get caught up with by virtue of what we share. And realistically, Straight Talk for the last 3.5 years has been basically the only consistent platform to have a female voice in kind of this arena in radio. And because we have several in the morning, all male hosts. We have, I think, one in the afternoon of similar nature, generally a male host or male guest host, minus and sometimes an appearance by yourself or otherwise. And then there's Straight Talk in the evening. And this, I have been, minus, some of the other platforms, one of the only female voices on radio in this type of talk radio show. Yeah. And I think our perspective is so incredibly important, because we know that Straight Talk and shows like it, we talk politics, social issues, things to do with the community. And not that men can't understand our perspective, but the reality is that we each come from our unique perspectives. And I just was so grateful to hear that it was another female voice, another female perspective going to step behind this mic. And so for that, I am particularly grateful. And I know even on Monday, when I did my final medical Monday, and more often than not, Shamari Scott will be in studio. And I said to him, I said, tune in on Wednesday. And he was like, who's the new host? Who's the new host? And I said, I promise you. I told him, I said, number one, I'm biased, right? I said, I'm telling you now, I'm particularly biased, excited about, and I said, I wouldn't tell him who it was. And I said, you are in more than capable hands, right? And I am sure that if he is tuned in today, that he knows that now, because we kept it our little secret, yes, until such time. But we finished off the last segment in discussing, okay, you've authored a book as well as other magazine and news columns. You've done at least 2 consistent stints in television locally, but you've also done radio on a number of occasions, a number of segments, along with continued guest hosting. What are some of the radio shows you've hosted in the past? Because I know you've had several segments over the years.
Well, John mentioned when I walked in that I'd been on all radios, and I was like, no, but now I realized I was.
Most.
So no, I was actually on DMS. I was on DMS, KISS. I love that. Oh my goodness. I was on KISS in the mornings. And then that was music and talk, right?
Yes.
And celebrity stuff. Because
Okay.
I love that too. I
Okay.
love
Got
gossip
it.
like that
Yes.
doesn't get me in problems.
Right. The
And I
fun
into
gossip.
and I into the people business gossip that
Right.
people like to be in here. I don't
Mhm.
know. We need to stop that too. Let's stop the mess. So I used to love that. Poor celebrities, they're fair
Mhm.
game, I guess,
Yeah.
sadly. But I'd always happy gossip, right?
Yes.
And then I was on Talk Today.
Mhm.
So I was on Radio Came On. I've done Talk Today and For the Record guest hosted
Yes.
many different times for Mr. Oric Connor, who used to be my boss over at the cabinet office.
Mhm.
Love Mr. Connor, and glad we're not competing with the time
Correct.
frame,
You
which is
basically
great.
got this slot to yourself.
Love
Who
that.
else
Love
are people
it.
gonna listen to
And
at
people
5
are in
o'clock?
traffic right now. So
Mhm.
you know what? Like stick with me, call us, do what
Yep.
you were doing. Like let's just keep the conversation going.
Yes.
And as well as I spent a couple of minutes over at another station. Anyway, which we will
Remain nameless. Yes,
leave
that's
them
fine.
nameless. But yeah, so radio, I love radio. Unfortunately, in here today though, because of the live stream,
Mhm.
it's not what I loved about it. I love that you can get on and nobody knows how you look. Like nobody, you don't have to be pretty. You can just walk in. But
Oh,
look how you still
now
got your
in
lid pretty
radio?
up in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, that's what I loved about radio. It's raw. It's nice. It's you're able to talk to people
It's live. Mhm.
and I love the like you said, the voice of a woman. You know,
Yes.
I think we have to respect each other, you know, in terms of gender, and it just cannot be so heavily on one side.
Mhm.
This country deserves the
Yes.
voices of women. This country was built on women's voices
Yes.
too. You know, men went to sea. Like we can't tell that story enough about how women took care of home and hearth while men
Absolutely.
went to sea and made the money, and they knew their children were being reared properly. They knew their homes was being, you
Mhm.
know, they sent the money home and the women dealt with it. So women are entrepreneurs. We are business people. We're powerhouses. We
Yes, we are.
deserve a place. We want to stand next to you. We don't want to be below you. We don't want to be
That's a good way
above
to put it.
you. Yeah, we want to stand next to you because that's how we complement each other. So your
Absolutely.
opinion and my opinion, put it together, we're going to come up with the perfect solution. So I think, yeah, I really do appreciate you feeling that about
Mhm.
another woman coming in because of you knowing the situation and how a woman's voice is definitely so
Absolutely.
necessary.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
so I was like, because I was waiting with bated breath, to be
Yeah.
honest, because I didn't participate in the process of finding a new host. I was up to the station. And so I just kind of held my breath
Yeah.
with prayers and crossed fingers and was like, "Arr, I hope,
Yeah.
right?"
Yeah.
And so it's been, I think, very fortunate for the listening public that they have secured you as the newest host of Straight Talk,
Well,
and
thank
that
you.
and
Thank
that
you for
we will
that.
have a female representation in Radio Land, speaking to all of the things that, and of course, you will. I think it can only be expected that you will find your own flow and your own way of hosting Straight Talk.
Yeah.
My immediate predecessor was Mr. Austin Harris. I'm now Emily Austin Harris. I know I am very different. My style is very different than
Right.
his, and I'm sure yours will come in and be very different than mine. But nonetheless, it continues to serve the public, and we continue to be able to talk on their behalf and bring the issues forward that's important to our community. But I certainly look forward to tuning in on the other end.
Okay.
That to me is exciting.
Okay.
That to me is exciting. I think I was telling someone, Ann Stevenson gives the AOK
Oh,
sign.
that's my girl. That's my girl, Miss Ann. Now,
She's
Italian. That's my
she's
friend.
tuned in on Facebook. She gives the smiley face.
All right, Miss Ann.
Thank you for tuning in, Miss Ann. You'll be able to find her here every Monday through Thursday from 5 to
I know
6
Miss Ann
p.m.
is so excited right now. She's just so excited. She's been excited. I love that woman.
That's awesome. So she's tuned in on Facebook. So of course, they will be able to catch you as normal schedule. That hasn't changed. Monday through Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m. right here on Star 92.7. And they'll get to hear Catherine Tyson's version of Straight Talk.
Yeah,
right?
I'm very respectful too
Mhm.
of recognizing that I'm walking into someone's space. I'm filling a seat, and a seat that,
You're making your own seat.
and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the respect is still so important for me. I come from that school, right?
Right.
I think the younger people are less inclined to understand that, and the older people,
Mhm.
we very much, I'm not like the older one, but I'm like kind of the,
You're mature enough.
in that place where it's like, you just kind of, you respect the process, and you make your own way, but you don't have to overpower anybody. So
Right.
I'm coming into a seat that's been filled by a very capable woman,
Thank you.
for the last 3.5 years.
Can't believe
you're
that time has
you're
passed.
absolutely, I can't believe it. Goodness gracious, it's insane.
Yeah.
And you're such a beautiful human. Like,
Thank you.
that's what I've never felt anything other than that from the
Thank you.
first day I've ever met you. You've
Thank you.
remained the same.
Thank you.
And so I'm honored to be in this conversation right now with you, that
Yeah.
it's not some type of animosity or anything,
No.
that it's amazing that you're transitioning. You've made that
Yeah.
decision yourself. It had nothing to do with me.
Right.
And the respect that I have for you, and the respect that I
And
feel from you,
likewise.
is
Yeah.
amazing. And I love
Yeah.
that. And if we could do a little more of that, I think we'll be all right,
We'll be on top of the
right? I
world.
think we'll be
Listen,
okay.
we'll be
Yeah.
on top of the world. If you want to have that discussion, woo,
Exactly. So
listen.
so I'm not here to
Mm.
undo anything you've done. I'm not here to outdo. I'm just here to
Be Catherine.
facilitate the entire thing that's been going on a
Yeah.
long time before me.
Yeah, and and you'll
So
be Catherine, and you'll do that.
that's it.
And I said, it was so funny because I appeared for the purpose of real estate purposes. I was on another station, another show recently, and someone said to me, they were like, "Oh my gosh, you were on the other end of the mic," and I said, "Honey," I said, "Listen, when I'm in somebody else's studio, I let them be the host. I
That's
am
right.
happy to be the guest and follow their direction."
Absolutely.
And I think that's all it's about. And so I think that you're the guest
Yep.
in studio, and you will certainly come Monday take over this microphone and make it your own. And to be very honest, I am super excited to see and hear and listen for what Straight Talk will become with you as the host,
Yeah.
because what are some of the things, and just so that the audience can get to know a little bit more about you. And I know you've mentioned this earlier, but what are the things that you're really passionate
Oh
about? Some of the
goodness.
things in
Well,
our community that you are very like passionate about talking about.
I tell you,
Hmm.
I'm just grassroots, right? So I think about
Hmm.
education a lot.
Hmm.
Education is huge for me.
Yes.
If we are not educated, and that's not, I'm not saying at the college level. I'm
Hmm.
saying just life in general, just the basics to survive.
Hmm.
If we don't have the basics of education to survive, how can we survive at a
Yeah.
particular level? So I'm very passionate about that. I make no bones about it. I will call it as I see it, and I don't have any apologies, because I work really hard to be educated and
Yeah.
to also facilitate education. So that's huge for me. Um, I also like to hold people accountable. If
Mm.
it, if you're not doing the right thing, you're not doing the right thing. If you're
Yeah.
doing good today, you're doing good today. So I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna hurrah for you when you're doing good. But if you're not doing so good, I'm gonna be like, come here, what's
Yeah.
happening? Because we're not perfect. We're gonna all flaw,
Yeah.
right? Or just
Awful.
fall some at some point. So
Absolutely.
that's very serious for me. Parenting, the
Hmm.
home, like coming back to the home,
Yeah.
women's
Oh.
issues, things like that. And I love men. I mean, I have
Hmm.
two sons. I have a relationship. I
Yeah.
am, that a person in my life that I love.
Hmm.
It's my fiance too.
Hmm.
And so
Congrats.
I have my brothers that
Yeah.
I love, and I loved my father and my uncle. So I'm not against men. I want them. I want
Yes.
them into the homes. I want them involved. And
That's
so
such a critical conversation.
yeah, I want everybody to have a place at the table
Yeah.
and to have a say. So I think those are big for me. Just family stuff and
Yeah.
community stuff, and how we work together to ensure that we're all a part of the decision making,
Hmm.
because we're all recipients one way or the other.
That's such a good way to put it. And it's what you've reminded me of, I guess, in my last 2 full weeks on Straight Talks, I think it was the end of August and the first week in September, I had Miss Lucille Seymour in studio with me, and I know that she is very much right now impassioned about ensuring that women enter the realm of politics, and then that voice. She said something that I thought was so important, and she said that every area of our society should be reflective, like so from government and government departments and otherwise, should be reflective of the society itself, from gender to background and complexion and the whole nine. And she
Right.
was sharing that in regards to essentially saying that our current legislative assembly is not reflective
Right.
of our society.
Right.
And so her campaign, right now is, and as she said, that's something she's committed to, is the female voice
Yep.
in all of that. And so that it reminded me, as you say, seat for everybody at the table,
Absolutely.
is that, and it's not what us in front of them or them in front of us, but simply side by side making decisions and helping to ensure that our society is good for all of us, I think, is what it comes down to. And before I would be I don't want to forget, just quickly a quick announcement for Cayman Music and Entertainment Association. They have an event coming up on October 3rd, so join the Cayman Music and Entertainment Association for the Family Summer Beach Party at Public Beach on Saturday, which is free, by the way. October 3rd at 3 p.m. Pack your cooler and your picnic basket. Come out and enjoy the Cayman sunset. Spend some family time on your wonderful, famous 7 Mile Beach, featuring music by DJ Martino, DJ Silver Fox, DJ Stephen King, DJ Adam Skills, DJ Sheriff, DJ Lil Jon, and DJ Frost. The Summer Beach Party is completely free, Saturday, October 3rd at 3 p.m., and that is being hosted by the Cayman Music and Entertainment Association. So if you want some free beach fun, some free music while on the beach, they will be hosting this event this coming Saturday at 3 p.m. But as we wind down for the last 10 minutes of the show, now I know you've talked about, your life was in the beginning stages of motherhood, and I see Facebook pictures of big grown adult kids towering above you, right? Because
Yes.
I don't think I know any of your sons.
Wow.
I think I
Okay.
only know your daughter, of course,
Mhm.
a former Miss Cayman, and I that's how I met her and first got to know her in the
Yeah.
studio here
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
How is she doing? Where is she now?
She's amazing. I call her everything I was, am, and ever will be. So she's just a new and improved version.
Okay, yeah.
She's
Catherine
amazing.
2.0.
Yes, something. She's still on island because she kind of got stuck with COVID as well, but she's been very, very busy.
Hmm.
She has a short movie that she's
I saw.
premiering October the 10th. So that's exciting. So maybe
Hmm.
I'll talk about that next week. I'll give her a
Sure.
plug next week for
Absolutely.
that. So she's
Absolutely.
excited about that. That was something that she did before she ran for Miss Cayman. So
Oh, wow.
she
Okay.
filmed it, like her bunch of her friends came down on vacation because she had schooled in New York, and
Correct.
she
Yeah.
has the whole acting and performance arts degree, right?
Yes.
And so she did this, and then she ran for Miss Cayman and won, and then
Yes.
got busy. So it was like shelved. So she just got back to it now after COVID. She was just like, or during COVID, she's like, what do I do with
Okay.
myself? And yeah, because she didn't want to run back into New York and,
Right.
just
We see how that's going.
exactly. So I'm glad to have her home,
Hmm.
but she's just had to get really busy. So she's working on that, and she's working on some other projects that she's going to be doing at the end of the year.
Awesome.
Yeah, just
And she's.
I think the Talent Exposition of the Arts.
Mhm.
She's producing
Oh,
that or
that's
something. So
excellent.
oh
That's
yeah,
exciting. Proud
it's
mama.
gonna be nice. Yeah,
Okay.
she's quite busy. But
Hmm.
my sons are also they're in the community working. They
Okay.
have great jobs
Hmm.
with great companies. One's with government. He has his master's in environmental engineering,
Okay.
so he's busy, over and doing his thing for the community and the country as well. And the older one is more in IT, so
Okay.
he's over at a
Private.
private sector,
All
yeah.
right.
But yeah, they are these big people now, and
I see that, and I'm
yeah,
like, oh, look at how all her kids. I mean, at least in the pictures, they all look taller than you, and
yeah.
you're
Well, I'm
tall.
shrinking.
No, but you're tall, and that's what, like, this is why I noticed, right?
Well,
Because
they're
I was,
6 feeters too, the boys.
well, see,
So
that's what I was like, because by comparison to me, you're a tall woman.
Yeah, I am a
Okay.
tall woman
I'm
though.
5'3" and a
Yeah,
quarter.
I'm a pretty tall woman, but I'm shrink. I am
Right.
shrinking as I
And
get
I'm like, how
older.
she got these big kids that
They're
like
huge.
towering
My
over
dad was
her?
like 6'4", so
Ah,
they come from really
okay.
tall
They picked up
genes.
those genetics.
They sure did.
And I know
Yeah.
that one thing I also wanted to mention. So, in addition to a career in as a social worker and as a civil servant, an author, a radio personality, a TV personality, you also now have your own business
Yeah.
as well. So, tell us a little bit about that as well.
Well, I mean,
Yours now.
I have my own business. I currently also I'm
Yeah.
a facilitator
Hmm.
with the Passport to Success program.
Yes.
And so my own business was something I started like many years ago when I was
Mhm.
working for the Chamber of Commerce. So I
Okay.
facilitate like self development and just business soft skills stuff and just
Okay.
working with unemployed. Just like I said,
Hmm.
I've always worked with vulnerable communities and just
Yes.
trying to upskill people
Hmm.
and just work with that. So it just sounds like a very busy person. Like the more that we say it, the more I'm getting exhausted just hearing about it. I take it in small doses. So yeah, for the most part, I really, are just trying to work with people to get them
Hmm.
in a better position, and especially now with our
Yeah.
country in the situation it's in, it's an opportunity to get
It is.
Caymanian people into the workforce, or either
Yes.
back into the workforce or into the workforce, just skilled and ready to take up the reins and
Absolutely.
capitalize on the opportunities. So I'm just glad to be a part of that. I'm all
Absolutely.
about that. I'm all about like bettering yourself and
Hmm.
looking at yourself and saying, okay, are there some areas that I can fix, I can improve? Let me do that.
Hmm.
Like you said earlier, you got the power.
That's
You
it.
have the power.
That's what I always say. I say everything that's happened to me in my life is my fault.
Yep.
Whatever the good, the bad, the ugly in between, because it keeps the power with
You're
me.
making a choice,
That's it.
one way or the other. One way or the other. And I learned that as a social worker. I learned
Yeah.
that people even make choices to stay in bad situations because maybe
Absolutely.
they're not ready to move from that yet.
As crazy as it sounds,
Yeah.
as crazy
Well,
as it
it's
sounds,
true.
but it's the reality.
You can, as a social worker, I would go to people's house at midnight trying to help them
Mm,
get out of a situation. By the
hmm.
next morning, they're back in
Right
that
back there.
situation. So until they were ready to come out of that situation and stay, I
Yeah.
didn't stay home at midnight.
Yeah. Call me
you
when you're really
know,
ready. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
call me when you're really ready. And
absolutely.
so, and we have a few minutes left, but Monday, of course, you'll start off fresh with Medical Monday, and generally we have our government segments on Tuesday, and then of course guests are open mics on Wednesday and Thursday. Um, you will make this show your own. And I'm sure it will transition as well. But what are some of the things you think the audience can expect from you as their host of Straight Talk?
Oh goodness.
Before you figured it all out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wha- you can always expect truth.
Hmm.
Always expect me to be straight. I'm a straight shooter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna call it as I see it. And I try to be diplomatic.
Hmm.
I work really hard at being diplomatic. I'm pretty proud of the strides I've made with that. But at the same time, I'm very honest.
Hmm.
And I don't ever want to not be honest. I don't ever want to be put in a position where someone expects me to not be honest. And that means honest with the good and the bad.
Yeah.
So I can't be like your best friend and I just rah for you. And then when you do something, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. That's not your best friend, actually.
Correct.
That's a
I
person
I
that's
agree with
just
you.
watching you hit a brick wall. And then when you hit it, they're like, well, I saw the wall.
But I
I'm
didn't
never
say
going to see
anything.
that wall and not tell you, you
I saw it
know?
and didn't say anything. Yeah.
Exactly. It's that person who'll let you walk around with spinach in your teeth all day because they don't know how to tell you that you got something green right here.
Oh
Take
God,
that
Catherine.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
You're funny. You're funny. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, so that's it. And I
You
use
can expect
humor.
humor,
I
clearly.
use
Yes.
humor. Humor and sarcasm
Hmm.
is it saved my life.
Okay, there we go.
It's made me not take myself too seriously. And let me tell you, there was a time where you get knocked on your butt and you're like, all right, I
Hmm.
guess you're just a human being.
That's after
Okay.
all. Check it
Brush
out.
yourself off and get on up and hold your head up high and
Yeah.
Just know it's just another part of this journey, and you're gonna live through it. You're gonna be all right.
That I think
So,
that's the key, right? That's such an amazing realization in life.
yeah,
The whatever it is, whatever the it is, it's a part of the journey, and you're gonna be
it's
fine.
just this moment too.
Yeah.
Remember, like there were moments yesterday, and there are gonna be moments tomorrow. Like it's the moment. How do you
Yes.
get through this moment?
It is.
And I tell that to anybody. Like it's just a moment.
That it's
Just
so that is
breathe,
so true.
breathe through it. Try to find somebody that likes you and see if they can encourage you today. Like some days I'm on my phone, like, who can I call today? I got
Yeah.
okay. Somebody, I know that girl. She's gonna kick me in the butt. Or no, I know this girl's gonna feel sorry for me, and she's gonna rub my shoulder.
Whatever you need, whatever you need.
That's what I'm calling. Yeah.
That makes me think of my nephew, right? My sister's son. He is. Let me not give the wrong age. So AJ is, I think, about 9 now. And one thing that makes me feel amazing is when people enjoy my food. I love to cook for the people I love. And if I ever need a pick me up, I just need to cook and take it to AJ because because AJ he's like his dad, very tall, a big 9-year-old, and
Love
he
food.
what he eat like a big man long time, and AJ will sit down to my food. And he go, Auntie, oh my gosh, your food tastes so good. Like, and just the way he goes on about the food. And listen, if
You
I
feel on
don't,
top of the world.
yes, if I don't feel good after that, something
Mhm.
wrong. Like, so
Yeah.
that's if I ever need a real, like,
Yeah.
lift. Listen, I turn to my 9-year-old nephew, just cook him something, and all I said, my auntie's the best.
Oh my goodness. Well, as I was saying that about find that person to call, I was thinking about my daughter and think, give birth to your best friend.
Yeah.
That's good too. Like right now, yours is what is she,
Yes,
2?
going to be
You
2 in
said-
January.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So, as they get older, you go through so many different phases in your relationship. And right now, like she's a girl that I'm gonna call to give me honesty. She's
Oh,
gonna she's
awesome.
gonna she's gonna be very, very sensitive with me. She doesn't want to hurt mommy's feelings, but she's gonna be like, but mommy,
Mhm.
you could have done this, or don't worry about that, or oh my
Yes.
goodness, yeah, she talks me off the
Give
ledge
birth to
and
give birth to your best
give birth
friend.
to your best
I
friend.
look I
I
look
got 3 of
forward.
them, so
That's awesome. But believe it or not, we are just shy of 6 o'clock.
oh wow,
Which means
time is flowing.
it's just we're literally a minute out from 6 o'clock. But I just want to take a moment to say, number one, congratulations
Thank you.
and welcome to this platform.
Thank you.
As I step aside to make way for you and your version of Straight Talk with Ruthanna, I am excited. Although you are no stranger to radio, I'm excited to see what Straight Talk will become by virtue of you being the host of the show. And to my audience, again, I am just so eternally grateful to
I'm
you.
gonna call you every day, right?
That's fine. That's fine. Call me. And if you ever need, listen, just send a SOS. Like I
Okay,
can call in on
for
the
sure.
phone. Like if you just can't think of something, like listen, I know what it's like. Can't
Right.
think of something to talk about. I'm sure I got something to take up some airtime.
Exactly.
It's
Okay,
fine.
great.
I'm here. I'm not. I haven't disappeared.
Good.
And from
good.
Miss Ann Stevenson, she says, Catherine, you are amazing. You are everything. I'm so proud of you and all that you've had and will achieve. You are a very, very special lady. God bless you. Oh, and you have the best mangoes on
I
island.
do.
Stay
You
true.
are
Okay,
right.
so Miss Ann, I'll find your house, Catherine. Come on. Now,
next year.
oh
It's
gosh,
finished now.
hush, that's
Next
right.
year,
Okay,
next
so
year, summer.
now that you have to call me all the time, be like, call me for the mangoes.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, to my audience, I am so appreciative of you. It has been 3.5 amazing years. I ended up as your host on Straight Talk in a very unexpected moment in my life, when Mr. Austin Harris and later on the directors here on Star 92.7 welcomed me as their host back in March of 2017, right before nomination day of elections that year. I said I learned by fire, right? Because no experience in radio hosting, and then all of a sudden you're in the midst of a campaign season.
Right.
What a learning curve that has been.
You did good. It was challenging, huh?
But it was
Yeah.
amazing.
And
I'm
look at you now.
people are like, I don't know how you talk so much. I'm like, girl, I don't know. It just comes out. But it has been my privilege and my absolute pleasure to sit here in this position that I consider to be a position of service, and some a medium that's very important to the public and to the listening audience. And so I am stepping aside but not going away. I will certainly, you may hear me call and be like, yeah, Catherine, I think you're talking about, and share my voice. But I certainly, just transitioning in my life.
Do that every day.
Yeah, that I mightn't do that because I need to sell some houses, man.
Right.
But I'm just really, really excited to welcome you into this position, and excited to tune in on the other end, and just grateful and thankful to Star and my audience for this opportunity, and all that I have learned on the other end of this mic, and all the people that I have had the privilege and pleasure of meeting through this 3.5 years. But realistically, people I may not have otherwise had the reason or opportunity to meet. So I am grateful for you all. My number is still 324-1565. So I am not going anywhere. Feel free to call me if you should need me. But otherwise, as always, 943-3700 is the number you dial for the microphone. And that is me peacing out as your host of Straight Talk. And next week, Monday at 5 p.m. sharp with Catherine Tyson, it will take over as your host. But it is Wednesday, and please drive safely on the roadways, guys. And you will tune in on Monday for some more Straight Talk. And at that point, it's Straight Talk with Catherine Tyson. Take it easy, and I love you guys.
Shell down the place. It's the Shellings Mix, exclusively from the Scratch Master.
Hey, God, no race to win, so saddle up cause a racing time, buckle up cause a racing time. All the riders them from a line, cause now a racing time. Go, baby, a racing time. Speed up cause a racing time.